Thank you for being so patient with us. We move on, of course, right now with session 8. We're going to take you to a place called Never Never Land. And we're going to Never Never Land to understand this concept of Newtopia. We have on stage with us right now Chef Stephan from My Private Chef, and joining him a lovely, lovely lady who's going to introduce you to this whole new culinary experience as well. Can we please hear it for Chef Stephan as well as Crystal?
Good afternoon, everyone. Very quickly, my name is Chef Stephan. I'm native to Austria, and just to talk very quickly about myself, I'm about 5 years here in Singapore right now. And in the last year, I found a business partner here in Singapore who is Crystal, and she runs My Private Chef, who does different kind of private chefings. Before I want to start talking about my new concept I want to do here in Singapore, I give Crystal a chance to talk about a little bit about My Private Chef, as well that we just collaborate together and open a cooking studio, or I should call it cooking school, because she likes it a little bit more if I call it a school, because we're very more into, or myself especially, I want to educate people a little bit more of all types of cuisines. So from there on, I just give Crystal the word to talk about My Private Chef.
Everyone, hi, good afternoon. I'm not a chef, so hear me out. I'm like you, I'm a foodie. 10 out of 10 Singaporeans are foodies, so it's not very difficult, to do what I do. I'm very, very lucky. After 15 years of organizing a lot of events for, the tech industry, I decided that I shall take things in my hand and do something crazy. I never want a single party to be the same, so I host a lot of parties. And I cook, but there are some days where I don't really want to cook or do anything. I just want to drink and look good and entertain. I then conceptualize this whole thing about My Private Chef. I don't have to lift a finger. I open the door, someone comes in with everything I need to throw a party. And I can be assured of gourmet food on the table. Today I want Asian food, tomorrow I want French food, another day I want something else. So I promise, to always work with a whole, spectrum of chefs, and Chef Stephan is of course one of my favorites. So thus we work together on a lot of crazy parties. Our parties are anchored by good chefs, so the food has to be good. Otherwise, I kill them. But a lot of times we try and stretch the imagination beyond just food being food. Of course, as Singaporean, I still want my char kway teow and all that on normal days, but when I throw a party, I need it to look like a party. So sometimes we throw parties with themes. Last weekend, we threw a party on Studio 54. Food served in strange, on mirrors, they suck, whatever's on the, your imagination can run as well as mine. So, we do Bond parties, we do Alice in the Wonderland party. Not just the menu, it actually permeates into the menu and the food presentation. So everyone becomes, more part of the fun. It's not just chef cooking the food, they hide behind the kitchen. For us, the food, the chef is part of the show, part of the experience, part of the party. So never dull moment at our parties. So that's My Private Chef. It's not difficult to like a good party, but because I work with a lot of chefs, they're essentially artists. They might kill me after this, but they are, their imagination runs really well. I mean, some of the things that Stephan does, he will show you shortly. Some of the things that, Chef Janice does, is totally a form of art. So we let them play at our cooking studio. My Private Pantry essentially is a cooking school, but I never dictate what the chef cooks or teaches there. Sometimes we close it for a private dining event, but essentially the chefs get to play with new recipe, new cooking techniques at our cooking studio in Tanjung Pagar. I mean, with that, I'll let let Stephan tell you a little bit more about Newtopia. It's one of our, actually it's his pet project at the moment, and he actually transports us to a different world every time when he, organizes his Newtopia dinner.
Thank you very much. Okay, very quickly, before I'm starting, the thing is, I will show later a video, but the thing is, I just want to very simply explain why Newtopia. So the thing is, it just explains two words. The first word is new, the second word is utopia. meaning new has to be all the time new created, has to be something just popping out. And this is Utopia, is a pop-up restaurant kind of concept. Utopia, as everyone here, sitting in here, everyone has a different kind of utopia. Wherever you would like to go, it's up to you. So the thing is, for me, cooking food, I started to working on concepts and ideas that let me get bonkers a little bit. Yeah? So the thing is, I come out with 3 to 4 times a year with different themes, and through this I will transport people into my kind of world. The thing is, the first theme what I did was Never Never Land. Never Never Land was inspired by 2 things. First of all, by music, because I'm a very big music fan, and secondly, it's the story of Peter Pan. But I don't talk too much about it. I will just show you a very short video about how the whole thing looks like in real. Okay, please play the video. Cooking is my passion, so I'm a chef. The reason why I started Utopia was I was working now 16 years in different restaurants, in one of the best restaurants in the world where you have 3 Michelin star kind of things. And the problem was all the time, it's a restaurant, the concept wouldn't change. What I was looking forward right now was I opened something what is absolutely me, where I can change, create and be creative as much as I want to getting bonkers. Utopia is a pop-up restaurant. It's the first time for me that I got the chance to go wild and crazy, is giving the diner a chance to immerse him into a dining experience he can't even experience anywhere else. They're only running 3 times a year. It's such a complex kind of dining concept that we will play around with the senses, with the smell, with the flavors. Everything is so crazy. Launching Utopia in Singapore is a great opportunity for me, because having 5 million foodies in this country just gives me the opportunity to have something inspirationally and give back to Singaporeans.
So not just smell and taste, actually he transformed our cooking studio to a whole thing like a jungle. That's actually our cooking studio, so we can get as crazy as your imagination brings.
Okay, as you can see, the thing is that I don't want to, with the food I'm presenting, all the dishes to me have to be a meaning. So the thing is, I will showcase very quickly three dishes that go very fast. So the thing is, as you have seen, there's even liquid nitrogen inside. We're using all kind of techniques, yeah? Even if it's sous vide or water baths. I still don't want to lose the connection to the old way of cooking, like fermentation or something very old, yeah? Or it's simple pan searing. I'm not trying to get too crazy about food, but certain times you need techniques that just help you to achieve what you want to do. For the first thing, and I think it's one of the simplest recipes and everybody can do it at home, and you're also very familiar to it, but as I said, there's a meaning to every dish. The only thing I will do right now is make a tomato mozzarella salad. The thing is, what I have here is a small little piece of small little diced tomatoes. And the only thing I will do is I'm using a bit of salt, I'm using white vinegar, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil,
This is part of the Utopia
Yeah, the thing
menu,
is,
right, this week?
yeah, we'll just use dishes we will serve there, and I will explain why I'm using these dishes or why I've chosen this one today. So as you can see, I just use a little bit of tomato and we'll put them in my small little tin here. Just use a little bit of mozzarella on top of here. The thing is, Utopia this week has 12 courses. So the thing is, I cannot serve you the biggest portions. Yeah? The thing is, we're going at least 12 to 12 courses. What I top on top of it is I have a little bit of caviaroli, what is nothing else than a little bit of olive oil made into small little spheres. I will use a small little tin, so the whole thing it looks like caviar. I have my little spoon to it, and to top the whole thing, I have a little bit of rocket cress. It's a very, very simple dish, but I will just serve this way. I will just put it here in front. It will be more or less the second course in the whole dinner experience. Why do I serve it? It's very simply. I'm from Austria and I'm living to the Italian border, so I'm very close and I'm very familiar to Italian food. As my theme is Never Never Land to this kind of menu, and it's quite a childhood, it's a kid's story more or less. It was influenced by a couple of things, but of course as well for the story, I had to go back to my own kind of childhood. So the thing is, what I grew up is with tomato mozzarella. It's the kind of dish I got served like 3 or 4 times a week, and it was something very, very usual. So the thing is, we just changed the presentation, and I say, food needs to have a meaning to me, yeah? Especially if you put it in a caviar box, so in the end of the day, caviar is something that is quite expensive in our world still, you know, so it means a lot to me, this dish, so the thing is why I'm starting doing this in the first place.
Are we supposed to mix it up or just...
Yeah, in the end of the day you would just use open hotworks, you mix it up and you just eat it, the same way you would eat tomato mozzarella in any other restaurant. Where I just move on straight to the second dish, what is a bit more complex. What I'm making is, I have here pork belly. The pork belly is cooked in a water bath for 48 hours. I have braised octopus here. And I will just take a little bit of the pork belly. And cut it up in small little cubes.
What did you do to the octopus?
The octopus also went to a water bath. Went in the water for 5 hours by 77 degrees Celsius.
Not 76.9?
No, 77 exactly.
Chefs are sometimes so geeky.
A bit sometimes. Okay. The only thing I will use is a bit of the pork. I use a little bit of octopus. All of it very tender.
Octopus tastes like white meat to me, not so much seafood.
It has a very interesting texture. It's
Yeah,
very close to
interesting
actually.
texture. It looks very crawly,
Yeah.
actually turns me off, but close my eyes, put it in, tastes like, yeah, it tastes really good actually.
I will use
Tender.
some very tiny cucumbers to get a bit of crunch inside there, a little bit of radish. Then I'm using one of my favorite kind of vinegars, what is Cabernet Sauvignon vinegar, to marinate the whole thing. A little bit extra virgin olive oil. And for the end, I have some braised. I braised a little bit of shallot, and garlic, and a little bit of butter, and I have a little bit of pesto here. So the thing is, I also add a little bit of coriander and a little bit of parsley, and I just blend the whole thing together. Presentation-wise, what I'm using, as the lady said already, you see a bark on my table here with a little bit of moss. Underneath, I put a little bit of a garlic aioli, a little bit of mayonnaise with garlic. It just goes underneath. We use a little bit of the salad. As seen before already in another presentation, I'm using oyster leaves. It goes a small little oyster leaf on top of this. And a small little flower. Well, it's a very simple dish. The thing is that if you would be right now in my Neverland in our studio, we would be surrounded by a forest. Everything is green inside there, there's leaves on the floor, it even smells like the forest kind of thing. So again, I will use the elements, whatever goes towards the theme. In this case, wood, moss, and bringing the kind of flavors all together. On top of this, we will serve the whole thing with a little bit of a dry ice kind of version where you get a lot of smell from the moss. So you get more an experience of different senses, you know, the one is like where you can see, where you can smell, and the way you can taste.
You're even fussy about the music we play, right?
Yes, I'm very fussy about that one.
But you told me that the Utopian dinners doesn't just stay in the studio.
No, that's not. The most interesting part for me about Utopia is that I asked myself one day a question, and I asked myself, why do I need to have an address? Why does restaurants most likely because people like to go down there? But the thing is, I'm a pop-up restaurant. I can pop up wherever I want. So the thing is, for me, it's the interesting part that I'm not interested to put an address under Utopia. The thing is, I can pop out and will disappear away quickly again. The thing is, I will run the whole theme dinners for only 10 days and do it only 3 times a year. The rest of the time, I will be in a cooking studio, and I'm very interested in educational kind of programs. Still working with other chefs, and so far we're working already with 20 different chefs in Singapore, and we're working on that, to progress on that as well. As well of course, overseas chefs to bring them in, making very interesting dinner experiences as well. So, very quickly, because I make one more dish, in plan. What I want to do is that
You have a pile of soil there. Well, it looks like soil to me.
it looks like almost rock. Something.
I know it's not.
What I want to do is I have a piece of codfish here. Everybody knows codfish.
What?
No, the bag.
No.
That. Hold up. No, it's not like that. No, sorry, that. What I'm using here is a sealing bag. These sealing bags, if you have not seen them before, they're all foolproof, and they can be heated up to about 150 degrees. What you see over here is a small little water bath. The water bath runs right now by 60 degrees Celsius. Why 60 degrees? The thing is, I will cook a fish, and very simply, fish is mainly protein. So the thing is, once I start preheating it, protein will start to stop when it hits about 60 degrees. So the thing is, the more gentle I cook my fish by low temperature, as more succulent, as more tasty it will be in general. So at the end of the day, I will just use a little piece of codfish what goes in my bag. What I'm using then in the end is a bit of squid ink. The squid ink I will just pour out here. Use a little bit of olive oil. Then in the end I will just mix it up till the whole thing is really black, almost looks like charcoal. Looks quite unedible.
Maggie's frowning, it doesn't look like food.
Yeah. So the thing is, from this part...
No, it's some people might mistake and actually take a piece of charcoal and think, hey, this one.
So the thing is, from this part, the only thing is I would need is to seal this bag so I get all the oxygen out, and there's a 99.9% of a vacuum inside here. To be honest, I would love to show you the machine, but the thing is, the machine weighs about 40 kgs. I'm not really interested in that 40 kgs. So the thing is, I pre-prepped once before, so it just looks like this. In the end, you have one piece of fish, what looks like a piece of charcoal. I will just drop it here in my water bath, and we'll cook it about for 5 minutes. It goes quite quick. On the other side, till this one is going on,
Is it a special piece of plastic bag you use?
These are special ones, yeah. So they are really food-proof, and they are like, you can preheat them to 150 degrees, nothing will happen.
Okay, so it's not the kind you can just walk into any store and buy.
They are using really materials, so there's no taste to it or anything, any dangerous kind of thing.
Where would you get a bag like that?
There's a couple of stores actually. So the thing is, if I should tell you brands, then I would go to the biggest one, would be Siahati in Chinatown.
Okay.
I think I go to TRTT.
Right.
They sell it. They sell you the whole equipment, everything you see here. Okay. The only thing is I'm doing here is right now I have a little risotto rice inside there. I pre-cooked it to save ourselves about 20 minutes of boring stirring kind of thing.
You're the best, yeah.
One. So the thing is, I just have here a little bit of risotto right now. I make it warm. And we have seen before using some green water or you go very good. Yeah.
This is high-class risotto.
It is indeed.
We use a little bit of the water. It would be very good to use a bit of fish stock actually. The thing is, risotto is cooked with fish stock. I will just add a little bit of squid ink inside here as well. Just need to get this going. So this dish is very simple and has only 3 components, and it's mostly the most likely the most daring ones or the most shocking ones when people get it on the table, because they're all quite scared of the black color, of course. What you have is a fish when it's cooking inside there. I have a risotto, and the last thing what I have here is a squid ink crumble. Same way you would use it for dessert normally. It's just butter, flour, and then squid ink. Once you bake the squid ink, it doesn't really taste like the squid ink anymore. And later we add a little bit of harissa spice, a little bit of salt and pepper to flavor it a little bit. Very importantly to be there, just in the end, to have a little bit of crunch, because the risotto is quite smooth and the fish is very succulent.
Taste. Actually, the first time I met Stephan on Eat His Food was actually this squid ink codfish thing that did it for me, because it looks so black on the outside. I'm like, this doesn't look like food. I was about to complain like many Singaporeans would. And I cut it open, it's pure white. It's just codfish, right? So, and it's still moist. And it looks crumbly out the outside, but yet inside it's still so moist. So the art of sous vide cooking.
The thing is that whenever I make normal risotto, I would add Parmesan cheese and a little bit butter in the end of here. The thing is, I won't do that once I'm using squid ink. Squid ink has quite very rich flavor, so in the end of the day, if I put here butter inside, a lot of Parmesan cheese, you will just to overpower it, especially because codfish, quite a bit of fatty fish as well. So I keep it quite light on this one here, and we just use one of the slate plates to get a little bit more drama on the whole plate.
That has got to be the easiest way to cook fish.
Yeah,
in a plastic bag in a hot bath.
It's not even the easiest, it's actually...
I love it, yeah, I love that you don't have any oil spluttering all over the place.
Super.
It is great.
It's actually the most healthiest way actually to cook the fish. Because you won't destroy any protein of the fish, so in the end of the day it stays completely intact.
And out it comes.
So fish comes out, fish goes...
On it?
Black goes on black.
Black on black.
Black on black. And in the end, we're using some of the crumbles in the end to make it even darker then.
Just have to warn you, if you attempt this at home, black is for a squid ink, not because how
it was too colorful before, kind of thing. So in the end of the day, as I said before, every dish should try to have a meaning in the end of the day. In Utopia, or even today, it's like Never Never Land. Once I cut the fish, it becomes absolutely white. That's why the fish is like, it's a cod black and white. But it's actually something like day and night. So the thing is that when you sit there and everything will be very dark, we serve it quite late in the dinner before the main course comes. It's really late, so it's dark. But the thing is, once you pop through the fish in the end of the day, and if I will cut through here right now,
great reveal.
Yeah, you will see that it's still white inside the fish. So in the end of the day, it's like the dark, the night of the dark, or how you would call it.
That's quite dramatic indeed.
It's very dramatic.
It is.
All the dishes will be most likely in a dramatic way presented to give you more than only food. The thing is, as said, I only will do it three times a year, so it's like going to the movies.
Right.
The other thing is, you will buy a ticket, you come, you will be entertained from start to the end,
Yep.
Yes?
and you will leave either with a smile or you will hate me. So that's the only thing I can.
No, we won't hate you. We definitely will leave with a smile.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand, please, for Chef Stephan
Thank you.
Zoisl.
It's amazing.
Do you have any questions? I know we're
We
running
can
short
take
of time.
one
but
question.
One question, or at the very most two. I know what the question will be. When are you going to do the next, Newtopia dinner?
This will end tomorrow. The next one will be only in July.
All in July, so
And
clear your
the theme will
schedules for
change
July.
again.
The theme will
change. So all these dishes I won't cook anymore. It's just like, that's it for 5 days. And in July we make 10 days, and then would it be
New dishes.
Yeah, new dishes. You either
See it now or never see it again.
something like that, exactly.
No one party should be the same.
Exactly.
That is true, that
Very
is
good.
true.
It won't be boring.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have another round of applause for Chef Stephan as well as Crystal, for my private chef.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, session number 8 has just